Welcome back to a game of Turnabouts. My role in the murder mystery game was the seductress. All I had to do was reveal my role to the thief. Of course, I realized that could only have been Connor. You see, I completed my task, so even if I was hiding something, I wouldn't need to kill Stratter. It looks like we're back to this argument again. How can we be sure that the witness really did complete the task she was given?
Objection!
Do you think so little of the police, Fraulein? Of course, Herr Irving was asked about this after we found out about this witness's role. He knew about her role as the seductress. She apparently told him when the two were in the dining room together. You're kidding. That's pretty solid evidence. Ugh, now what? Sorry about that, YouTube. Cross-examination, Miss Sykes. So, as I said, sorry about that, YouTube. My role in the murder mystery game was the seductress. All I had to do was reveal my role to the thief. Of course, I realized that it only have been Connor, which means he couldn't have completed his role. But me, or has Miss Barr come out of her shell a little more since we first met her? You're right. She's not aggressive by any means, but she's definitely pushing back a lot harder now. Maybe she's not as frail as we thought. It's been proven that Grace did reveal her role to Connor that night. Question is, does it mean she couldn't have had a motive to kill Arcus that night? Come on, man. Ah. There we go. All you had to do... That's not true, is it? What? Revealing your role to Mr. Iving wasn't the only thing your note told you to do. Because you were also instructed to hide your role from all other participants. Makes sense. Without that extra rule, she could have just gone around showing her envelope to everybody. Forced her into having to stay quiet about the seductress around the other guests. But Miss Sykes, I don't see why that matters. Huh? Even without that rule, my task was still complete. I can assure you that I didn't tell anyone else about my role. Wrong! Nobody else knew that she was the seductress. This witness which would remain in the clear. Guess that's true. As long as nobody else knew. But I'm sure I'm on the right track. Come on! Okay. There we go. Looks like there's an important detail you missed in your testimony, Mrs. Barr. And if I didn't know any better, I'd think that you left it out on purpose. Excuse me? Let's take another look at your role, shall we? Your role is the seductress. Go, identify the thief, and reveal your role to them. So far, so good. We've seen that you managed to do exactly that. The real issue comes along when we look at the next part. Having your role revealed to a guest besides the thief will be considered a failure. In other words, even if you did tell Mr. Iving what your role was, Stratter would have revealed your secret anyway if that information was leaked to anyone else. Ah, but how do we know that if that little addition is relevant at all? You know full well that it is, Prosecutor Gavin. After all, we already know that one other person knew what this witness's role was. It was her husband, Ronald Barr. Recall what Ronald Barr had to do to achieve his role. Discover the roles of every other guest. When he took the stand earlier, Mr. Barr was able to prove that he did just that. And if that's the case, it means that you failed to complete the goal that Stratter gave to you. Interesting that Stratter would design the couple's roles so that only one of them could succeed. It's almost as if he was trying to turn the two of them against each other. The witness didn't complete the goal that was written in her envelope. That means that the victim would have revealed whatever secret she was hiding. But I'm not hiding anything. We already know that's not true. The evidence proves that Stratter had information to blackmail all of the suspects from 3 years ago. It would include you as well. Ah. Okay, and now that we know that this information was guaranteed to come out, I'm afraid that gives this witness a motive for Herr Stratter's murder. How can you say that? But besides, Ronald only found out what my role was when we were in the lounge. According to you, I could only have picked up the murder weapon before that time. Huh? Actually, that doesn't make sense. We know that Grace couldn't have gone to the dining room after she met Ronald in the lounge. There's another explanation. Miss Barr did pick up the murder weapon before going to the lounge. And even if her role had been revealed, there was still a chance that it would be. So she took that knife as a precaution, but didn't intend to use it unless she had to. If that were the case, then when Mr. Barr looked at her envelope, freaking dogs! Right, it was that moment that sealed Stratter's fate. I don't suppose you have any proof of all that? Of course yes, Seth. Proof or not, we've still shown that you had a motive to kill Arthur Stratter. Something that Mr. Wright lacks, which would make you a much more reasonable suspect. Ah! Do you have anything to say in response to this witness? I think, Mr. Lawyer, I dare say you're getting ahead of yourself here. Now what do you want? I don't think you can reasonably claim that my wife had any kind of motive to kill Stratter. I know what it is, though. Excuse me? Weren't you trying to throw her under the bus earlier? Now you're suddenly interested in arguing for her, even when she testified against you? All I'm saying is that we're missing one important thing. Yes, Arcus would have revealed Grace's secret that night. But how can you claim that it would drive her to murder when we don't know what that secret is? For all we know, it could be something fairly mundane. Yes, I suppose that's true. But does the witness really commit murder to hide her secret? Ronald, no. So this was your plan. Plan? Dirty, rotten, underhanded. But now we're in a position where we are forced to comply. Say whatever you like. My point still stands. If the lawyer wants to make her accusation stick, she'll listen to me. Why do I get the feeling that we're being baited? Probably because we are. Then what do we do? I guess we take the bait. Yeah? Go ahead, tell us. What was the secret that Arcus held over my wife? Grace's secret. It's got to have something to do with her role. The seductress. In that case, the secret that Strider was using adultery. This is the only possibility that seems reasonable to me. Mrs. Barr, there's really no nice way of putting this. You're having an affair, weren't you? Miss Sykes. Even if that were true, is this really an appropriate time for such a discussion? Actually, it's the perfect time. Because that's the secret that Arcus Strider was used to blackmail her. The seductress. Wouldn't make sense. But that's not all, is it? You know who this other person that Grace was seeing is, don't you? Yep. Could only be Connor. Grace was required to reveal her role to the thief in secret. Concerning that, I think the person that she was seeing must have been Mr. Ivan. Secret affair with the man who was stealing from her husband. Guess that also explains the way the two of them were acting around each other. Yes, now that you understand. One question, Herr Barr. Did you know about all this? I'd suspected it for quite some time, but was never able to prove anything. But would such a secret really drive this witness to murder? It's not just the affair. What do you mean? Grace's family, the Gildings, became quite close to the Barr family after our wedding. Our marriage was a great boon to them, financially speaking. Of course, if it was revealed that Grace had been unfaithful, a divorce would have followed. Not only would she lose the support of the Barr family, but she would also be ostracized by the Gildings for her actions. Kicked out and demonized by your own family, and left with nowhere to go. I suppose something like that might have driven her to murder. It seems that this witness did have a probable murder after all. Of course, motive. Probable motive. Jesus. My mouth. Sees a word, start with the letter, goes with another word. Jesus. Not probable murder. Come on. She had a probable murder. What? Sorry. Of course, so else I didn't realize it at the time. This was exactly the reason that Grace aided me in the murder of Strider's daughter. Although we were not yet married at the time, our families were already making arrangements. The marriage was intended to improve relations between the Barr family and the Gildings. Were Grace's affair revealed before that time, the wedding would be called off for certain. So Isla knew about Grace's affair from her time at Barlink. I suppose that must be how Strider found out about it as well. And now Grace has committed a murder herself to keep that secret hidden. She was the one who killed Arcus. I witnessed it myself. Witness? You witnessed it? I think it's about time that I tell you the whole truth of what took place in the lounge at night. No, don't listen to him. There you are, darling. You and Connor have been... There you are, darling. You and Connor have been speaking for quite a while. Yes, well, we're just catching up. I see you're still holding on to your envelope there. I don't suppose you would mind it if I took a look at it. Oh, wait. You can't. Nonsense. Give it here. The seductress. What is this supposed to mean? It's just a game. It doesn't mean anything. So my suspicions were correct. Envelope mentions the thief. Judging from where you've been, I take it that's Connor. Yes, Connor is the thief. I should have known. Seems I can't trust anyone, can I? Perhaps I should go have a word with him myself. Wait. I brought you something. Take it. What? What do you expect me to do with this? It's obvious, isn't it? You don't want Arcus to reveal your role, do you? Oh? How do you know that my role is anything worth hiding? Considering the circumstances, there's only one thing it could be. The same thing we covered up 3 years ago today. Or am I wrong? So this is your plan? Forget it. I won't help you this time. I don't need to. Thanks to you, I've managed to complete my task. What? Now I won't have to worry about Marcus spilling anything. And, judging from what I read in your envelope, I get the added benefit of seeing you revealed for who you really are. Game over, darling. Looks like I win. Wow. You win? Is that what you think? I'm afraid I can't allow that. What do you say? The secret contained in that envelope might be safe, but you and I both know why Arcus made us play this game. So what? You really think he won't find out what you did? I heard that lawyer he brought in is quite famous. If something doesn't happen to stop the game. Hold on, don't forget that you had a hand in that incident as well. I don't think you're in any position to coerce me. But all I did was move a knife from the dining room. That's not a crime. And after you threatened me so menacingly that night, how could I refuse? Excuse me? I did nothing of the sort. No? I wonder if the police would believe that. Grace. Darling, think about this for a second. Don't call me that. I won't do it. There's no way that they could have found out about. That sound. It came from the library. Sounds familiar, huh? The lawyers were in there with that kid earlier. I heard them. They opened it then, too. Still think that they won't figure it out? Fine. Seems I'll have to take matters into my own hands. Wait, you... If you'd rather keep what happened 3 years ago secret, I'd stay quiet about all this. And with that, she went through the north door into the library. Order, order, order! Is this all true, Mr. Barr? Did I lie to you? Why didn't you say any of this until now? Can I just tell you, Grace threatened to reveal what happened 3 years ago. But even after you were accused of Ada's murder, you stayed silent. Why didn't you tell us about this when you were later accused of killing Arcus Stratter? It was because of this. Chris Barr's role? Herr Barr has been very naughty. Even after his own fate was sealed, he used this trial to his advantage. Am I right? Looks like you saw through me. I can admit that none of this went according to plan. And the most infuriating part is that I'm only in this mess because of my wife's crime. That's why I made a vow. If I'm going to prison, I'll at least reveal the secret that Grace was so desperate to hide. I'll make her confess, so that I can finally hear those words in person. What on earth are you talking about? Are you serious? Put us through all this just so you could have your petty revenge? Oh boy, he's a narcissist and a sociopath. That he is. I'd say, When I revealed my hand too soon, we ran the risk of skipping over the motive discussion altogether. So I decided to keep quiet until the time was right. Drag things out a little longer. Even tried to accuse Mr. Right at that point. Truth is, I was just biding my time till Grace herself was called to the stand. True, it did throw a wrench into things when I was nearly convicted for Arcus' murder as well. But luckily for me, you put a stop to that, Mr. Prosecutor. I'm sure I don't need to tell you that I didn't do what I did for your sake. All I want is the truth. What a coincidence! So do I. Now we'll both get what we want, because it's time for our culprit to confess. My wife was having an affair. That's the truth. Witness? I have nothing to say, Your Honor. I confessed to nothing. She's denying it? Stubborn to the very end, eh? I was hoping to hear you confess to it yourself. But I suppose exposing you as a liar, as well as a cheat, will be just as satisfying. Lucky for me, there's evidence that proves the lawyer's accusation. There is? You're really not so good at the whole thinking thing, are you? Remember how you were able to prove that I was involved in the data leaks? Marcus's daughter compiled information on everyone at Barlink, and passed it on to her father. Right. Those files that Clavier took from Marcus's body. They also proved that Connor Irving was the one stealing money from the company. Do you think Stratter had evidence to suggest that Grace was having an affair as well? It's incredibly likely. Every one of the roles received by the guests that were used as blackmail, Stratter had evidence to back those claims up. Those financial reports, and his recreation of that letter that his daughter wrote. Why would this time be any different? Go ahead, Mr. Prosecutor, show us. Yes, well. About that. Yeah. He doesn't have anything, because you're kidding me. Wait, what? You don't have it? It's true that Isla Stratter wrote to her father some notes on the witness's affair. She seemed certain that Grace Barr was romantically involved with Connor Irving, but as far as physical evidence goes, a search of the manor after Herr Stratter's murder turned up nothing. Really? Probably because Grace took it with her. That's impossible. You must have just missed it. I assure you, Herr Barr, the police looked everywhere. Stratter was carrying those Barlink reports on his person when he died, probably to keep them safe from the guests during the game. So why wasn't there any proof of this affair found on his body along with him? Obviously, it's because there was no proof to begin with. Marcus's daughter was mistaken. I've been nothing but faithful to my husband. It's frankly more than he deserves after he's made up such terrible lies about me. I highly doubt that Stratter was wrong about this when he was on top of everything else. You can doubt it all you like, but it doesn't change the facts. Without evidence of the witness's affair, you can't prove a motive. For the motive, we have no reason to suspect her over her right. Seriously? What about Connor Irving? He could testify about his relationship with the witness. Oh? You really think that Connor would do that for you? Even after you dragged his reputation through the mud already? What you were saying was true. I think you have as much to lose as I do. Oh, but I can't speak for the man. Call him up if you like. And if she's inviting us can only mean that sure he won't say anything. Like Irving won't be any help. I need solid physical evidence. Yes. But where do I even find that? Athena. Did I get too cocky? Should I have just taken the not guilty verdict when I had the chance? Because of me, Mr. Reich is going to... You idiot! Come on! Fraulein. Thank you for putting your faith in me. Without you, we would never have gotten so close to the truth. Close? But... Hush. Now it's my turn. I'm putting my faith in you, Fraulein. What do you mean? There have been so very many twists and turns in this trial. To bring Frank, you've handled them all expertly. You're a natural. Yet, you seem so unsure of yourself all the time. I'm so just a rookie. We all were at some point, Fraulein. Even Herr Wright and I had a day where we stood in court for the very first time. So what? Do you think that you will just stop feeling like a rookie one day? How long does it take? A year? 3? 7? Self-confidence isn't just about having experience. What matters is what's inside you at this very moment. That's why if you don't have any faith in yourself, then I'll simply give you mine. Prosecutor Gavin. He's right, you know. Boss? You've been through tough times, taking some difficult cases. You've got more than enough experience to see you through this. Now all you need is the confidence to know that you can do it. Mr. Wright. Prosecutor Gavin. Thank you. Thank you for your trust in me. Hello? Can you all stop patting each other on the back and accuse my wife of murder already? Quiet, you. Well, Miss Sykes, do you have any evidence for the court at this time? Yes. Evidence, huh? There has to be something. Which means all I have to do is find it. Allons-y! It's time to solve this case once and for all. Aww. Start over from the beginning. Arcus Stratter set this game up to solve the mystery of his daughter's murder. He invited the 4 suspects to his manor, along with Mr. Ryder and myself, to force the suspects to play along with this game, Stratter blackmailed them. Using the roles he handed out before the game, he which alluded to secrets about each guest. He also had proof of each of these secrets, except no evidence of Grace Barr's affair with Connor Irving was found by us or the police. The question is, where was that evidence when the game began? Inside the manor. Proof must have been in the manor somewhere. Specifically, it was being held by this person. No, I don't think so. Arcus? Yeah, Arcus. Right. It was being held by Stratter. Stratter was the one carrying those reports by Barley. He set up this murder mystery game by himself. Makes sense. So why didn't the police find that evidence after the murder? They found the evidence trying the other 3 guests, so... Actually, that's not entirely true, is it? It's proof that Stratter was using to blackmail this person wasn't found by the police. Ken Forza. Oh yeah, Stratter's recreation of his daughter's letter. Started up in the study to encourage Ken to steal it back from him. So why didn't the police find that piece of evidence in the manor? Because we took it. Alright! Alright, because he took it. Wait, what? I'm confused. There we go. Of course! Mr. Ryden... That made sure that the police never found it during their investigation. Does that mean that someone took the proof of Grace's affair from Stratter that night? If that's the case, then who took it from him? Grace, of course. Grace took the evidence from Stratter. Duh. Ew. Seriously, come on. It was easy. Right, Grace could have been the only one who took it. That means that the person who was carrying the evidence we were looking for was Grace Barr herself. I've got it. I know where the evidence is. You do? Sure, I did have proof of the witness's affair. It's more than likely that he was carrying it on his person on the night of the murder. Which means that the killer could have just taken it from the body after killing him. Ah, I suppose they could. Could isn't good enough. The fact is that you can't prove that Arcus was carrying anything if it's gone. You certainly can't prove that I have anything to do with it going missing. Grace did find what she was looking for on Stratter's body. Sure, she would have disposed of it by now. Well, I suppose she might have. But maybe she never got the chance. Huh? Caroline, you know what it is, don't you? The proof that this witness took from Herr Stratter's body. Looks like we're on the same page. Well, I'm not. What the hell are you two talking about? If you've got proof that Grace did it, then show us already. Could you please be quiet? Anyway, I've got your proof right here. Here's the evidence that is going to prove Grace Barr's guilt. Right? This pendant? How do you get that? Connor Irving presented this pendant to the court as proof that he had completed the task he was assigned in a murder mystery game. This pendant, you stole this? Only for the purposes of the game. I fully intended to return it, but never got the chance. I snatched it from Grace's pocket just before the body was found. It was about 9:45 in the main hall. Right. He stole it from me? He was clearly quite eager to keep his secret hidden. So what? Why does that pendant matter? Don't you see? This is what he's been looking for all this time. Huh? There's a very good chance that this pendant is the proof that Sarah used to blackmail your wife. I mean, just take a look at the inscription on the back. With all my luck, C. C. For Connor, perhaps? You're saying that this pendant was a gift from Herr Iving to this witness? That doesn't prove anything. C could refer to anyone. Oh? But nobody else involved in the case has a name starting with C. I suppose that there's my last name, but we've already established that Mr. Wright and I aren't involved in this case as the rest of the guests are. Well then, how do you know that Connor gave that pendant to me specifically? Simple. Because you were the one that had the pendant when Iving stole it. But Miss Sykes, I thought you said that this pendant was the victim's blackmail. Correct. This pendant was the star's proof of the witness's affair. Which means that the victim was carrying the pendant when the party began. But if this witness had it with her after the murder occurred, it will mean... Exactly. Grace Spark took the pendant from Stratter's body after she murdered him. No! If the pendant truly was on the victim's person, there should be traces left somewhere on it. Well, Miss Barr, what do you think? We'd see if we ran a luminol test on this. Traces of the victim's blood, perhaps? Please, no! Connor, why? Trusted you. You knew what would happen if that pendant got out. I've no doubt that he was correct in saying that Herr Iving would want to buy your affair. In all fairness to him, I'm sure he did not expect our discussion to reach this point. I regret to inform you, witness, that your secret lover jumped at the chance to reveal this pendant. I suspect that granting himself a suspicion was the only thing he cared about at the time, that he was willing to deal with whatever implications arose from this piece of evidence. It can't be. Connor, even you? It's too brute. It's time to bring this twisted game to an end. Grace Barr, you're the murderer, and that's my final answer. You couldn't possibly understand. You couldn't possibly understand how it feels to have no one in your life who cares about you, no one who gives a damn. To have your own family treat you as nothing more than a bargaining chip. To gain favor with some pompous, arrogant, cruel man. A man who only wants you as a trophy to have by his side in public appearances. A man who would go so far as to murder a young girl without a second thought. All to protect his own twisted image. You couldn't possibly know how it feels. For your family, for the people who raised you, to threaten to kick you out onto the streets, and leave you to rot, simply for suggesting that who you marry should be your own choice. I was raised to never argue, to never put my own wants and needs above those of the family. And the one time I do, time I dare to spend time with a man who actually seemed to care about me as a person, leads to these pointless deaths. And I've been exposed, the Stratter family died for absolutely nothing. Do you think I wanted that? Do you really? And now this comes out. This stupid pendant. Well, I guess he didn't even really care either, did he? That's right. Not even him. I'm done. I'm finally done. Let it be known that this is the day that I, Grace Gilding, finally gave up. And let me just say, from the bottom of my heart, to hell with all of you. Prosecutor Gavin, where's our witness? She's been taken into custody, Your Honor, along with her husband. Who, might I add, did not shut up once he was removed from the courthouse. Of course. It appears that this sad story has come to an end. And the murder mystery has finally been solved. Congratulations, Caroline. You've successfully fulfilled Herr Stratter's final wish. I guess so, huh? You did well. You should be proud of yourself. If there are no further objections, I shall now hand down my verdict. This court finds the defendant, Phoenix Wright. Whew. Another long video, huh? I didn't realize it would get this long, but I couldn't stop. Not guilty. Court is adjourned. Congratulations, Daddy. I just knew that Athena would be able to get you off the hook. Haha, you really were impressive back there. I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about anything that just happened. Oh, my throat. Okay. Yeah, I'm probably gonna take a few days. He's off of recording videos. Yeah, that was pretty messed up, huh? It's totally a tricky one. The important thing is that the truth came out in the end. And hey, at least one good thing came from this case. Thanks to the Shadow family, all the corruption surrounding Barlink was rooted out. Yeah, looks like that mess of a company is gonna go through some reforms. Does this mean I'm gonna have to find a new place to post the pictures for my show? Trial really did rock, Caroline. Okay, so maybe it ended on a bit more of a somber note. But I had a lot of fun in our first real jam session. Prosecutor Gavin, thank you for your help today. No need to praise me, Caroline. Well, maybe a little bit. But everyone knows that you were the real star of the show in there today. I'm sure a certain large foreheaded individual would be impressed with how far you've come too. Ah, Herr Forehead. Apollo. What's going to happen now? Those responsible will be put on trial for what's been revealed here today. That includes the murder 3 years ago, as well as everything going on at Barlink. Even our friend, the thief, was taken in for questioning a little while ago. Alright, the embezzlement scheme. But hey, that's none of your concern now. Go celebrate your victory. I'll wrap things up here. See you at our next performance, Caroline. Looking forward to it. Defense team? You'll find them through that door. Awesome. Thanks, dude. So, hi, Ken. What brings you here? I wanted to thank you dudes for clearing up everything that happened 3 years ago. And I wanted to say I was sorry for not telling you guys the whole truth straight away. At least the one responsible for the death of your girlfriend will finally be tried for his crimes. I hope that gives you some form of closure at least. Closure? Oh, I get what you mean. Yeah, it really is a huge waste. I mean, just think about it. Marcus Stratter's daughter. If I had gotten in good with her, I'd never need to work at that crappy auto shop again. Sure, Isla could get pretty annoying at times, always so clingy. But with money like that, I could totally put up with it, you know? What? You're serious, aren't you? Oh, well, plenty more fish in the sea. Can't be too hard to find another rich girl with a screwed up home life, right? What the hell is wrong with you? Are you that stupid? You're right. I'll probably have to put some effort in this time around. Wait, later, dudes. Hit me up if you've got any car troubles. Jesus Christ. Hey, what? Mr. Wright? I've come to realize that everyone else involved in this case sucks. Huh. Well, let me tell you something. There's one very important lesson I've learned from being a lawyer for such a long time. What's that? People really are the worst sometimes. I agree. And I'm not even a lawyer. I've just been on the internet for too long. For 15 years, pretty much. So, yeah, I'd say I understand very well. People are... yeah. As Phoenix said. Well... I don't know if this music is copyrighted, but so I guess when this is over, and if there are any dialogue, after this. Oh, Ghost Trick 0 time. Hey, I like Ghost Trick. And all that. Yeah, after this video, I will be considering Turnabout Trickery for the next series that I do. And then, of course, after that, I will be returning to Turnabouts of the Father. Ah! So yeah, that pretty much sums up the case. Oh! What do you think? Oh, wow. That's crazy that all that happened to you guys. Still, though, sounds like you did well. Well, I did get a lot of help from the boss. Oh, and Prosecutor Gavin, too. Don't sell yourself short. You should be proud. Heh, thanks. Anyway, when are you gonna come back and visit us at the agency? I'll be back soon, I promise. As soon as things calm down a little bit here, that is. Hey, AJ! Hey, Apollo! Apollo! What's the hold up over there? This yak won't milk itself. Sounds like you're busy. You don't know the half of it. I should get going. Say hi to Tracy and Mr. Wright for me. Will do. Apollo! Well, I guess, I'll see you in the next case, YouTube. Goodbye.